And you also could say with Jupiter up here in general, you're lucky on your health, you're lucky on your where you live, you're lucky in many things in your life. Even your relationships can be lucky, long-term committed love. So you're going to kind of get an all-over umbrella effect of Jupiter at the top of the sky. That's the good news for you Scorpios.
Lunatic astrology.
Hello, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. July 2026 is a big game changer, and I'm not kidding. There is a rare first and once in a lifetime basket formation in our sky, including Jupiter with the outer planets. It's going to really shift your realm of reality in the second half of July. Well, at the same time as the month starts, Jupiter, the Santa Claus and fairy godfather of the zodiac, begins to love up your career and reputation space and starts a journey of a whole year, what will look like career prosperity, abundance, and success. And for some of you, wedding bells may be ringing in the next year as well. Let's break it down by going through the month of July, week by week and day by day, as I highlight the most important stories for your chart. And by the way, with an eclipse fueled lunation in your fourth house that stems from February, some of you might be getting ready to make a change of home as well. So a lot to say, Scorpio rising at your signature of your avatar, Sun, your career and purpose and meaning of your deepest soul, nature, and true self, and Moon, your home and nest and your emotional comportment. Ascendants are very sensitive to circumstantial change, so you might want to listen for your ascendant first. All of this said and done, this energy is going to be a game changer, as I said, cliched but true. And it's going to have sort of an epic impact on the way you want to move through your life after the month of July. You'll have more clarity. July is kind of like the opening act of a longer structure. So let's bring your sky into formation by looking at the chart together and going through it. Before I do that, welcome to my channel. If you're new, did I say this is Western Tropical Zodiac? My name is Lori Lothian. I am your astrologer today. I want you to think about timing your best month, but also timing your best life. And when you learn the skills of astrology, when you learn to read the sky, when you learn to read the time map that astrology is, you are going to be able to use astrology to make your own decisions and forecasts. So come to my Sky Reader class, my 7th year teaching this beginner level, learn the astrology, learn the language of astrology. In our 7 weeks together, learn to read your chart, read the sky, learn to make predictive stories from 2 very easy timing tools. And I have 4 guest teachers. I have Q&As weekly. I have a Facebook group, a Discord group. We have tutorials and teaching assistants helping me. And it is live with me in class. So if you like to learn astrology from the ground up from me, then come aboard this September's class, 7 weeks long. Information either on the waitlist or the enrollment link will be ready. The deep discount super early bird pricing ends at the end of July. And then if you want to grab that after, you can still enroll in August, but it will be a little bit more expensive, maybe a lot. All right. It's a very affordable course given the amount of content you're getting. So I hope to see some of you in school this September. Let's take a look at the Sky Scorpios and talk about your story. And we're going to begin with July first, but let me tell you about the biggest picture possible and then break it down week by week and day by day. Take pens, take papers. It's probably 30 to 40 minutes long. It's a busy, busy month. One thing you must pay attention to as we begin the month ahead is that Jupiter, the fairy godfather guy, is moving into your 10th house of career. And this up here is a good thing. You're going to see Jupiter here for a whole year until next summer. And this is going to bring you opportunity, expansion, and growth in your career space. It could also change your reputation. You could become married legally. You could actually become a parent. Jupiter represents your reputation is now attached to being parental, to being someone with children. And you also could say with Jupiter up here in general, you're lucky on your health. You're lucky on your where you live, you're lucky in many things in your life. Even your relationships can be lucky, long-term committed love. So you're going to kind of get an all-over umbrella effect of Jupiter at the top of the sky. That's the good news for you Scorpios. And then the other big story will be Mars is moving at the end of June on the 28th into Gemini. He moves signs every couple of years into Gemini, like every 2 years he comes back to Gemini. So it's not super rare, but Mars will move into a rare formation, bending the nodes of fate in a square. And this is important because you haven't seen this, and this is not normal. So It could happen every 18 years, but it doesn't have to happen every 18 years. So Mars squaring the nodes of fate, bending the nodes of fate from your eighth house of chunky money, business partnership money, shared revenue, and resources is important. And we'll talk about that as well. And I like the idea here of Mercury retrograde. I often don't like Mercury retrogrades for lots of reasons, but Mercury will retrograde in your ninth house. And this could indicate Mercury's backwards journey for the first 3 weeks of July. He started around the 29th of June, ends on July 23rd. Mercury's backward retrograde could bring from your past situations, people, and endeavors connected to foreign lands, international themes, educational directions, including colleges and universities, like you got accepted years ago at Harvard, but you couldn't go, but now that you tried again and you got in. I mean, there's weird back to the past here. And people who you would call guides, mentors, or advisors from your past coming out of the woodwork and coming back into your life at this time. This Mercury retrograde brings the past to the now, and possibly you might find that it's also going to align you with old pastimes, hobbies, and talents that you feel are purposeful and meaningful. The Dharma alignment of your life reignites the past. So where you felt on purpose in the past, that retrograde in the first weeks of July could make you feel more on purpose in the now. Okay, let's get going. Let's start off with the beginning of the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. You can tell that I have been talking a lot today because I sound delirious. When we begin the month, the very first thing is that you're going to get the first square of Chiron, and Chiron will be squared again later on in the month, third week down by the sun. The Chironic story is the wound in the house of marriage, long-term love, business partnerships, and the wound of what we want to commit to with other people. So it can be anything from a business partnership wound to a wound around, marriage and agreements with your marriage partner, or you may attract wounded partners, right? Your marriage partner has got challenges to their health or their psychological wellness. But this is a story that's happening for only a few months. It starts on, the 19th of June, and it ends on September 7th, because then Chiron goes back to the sixth house and reignites that wound of work not being aligned with work that you've had since 2019. I've got 2 videos out about Chiron moving into Taurus for all signs. Please go watch those. But all said and done, as you begin to work with this new area of your chart that could feel a little bit like you're on a big learning curve of the wounds that create the key to purpose, you're going to notice Jupiter squaring from the career house, or maybe wounds in your long-term committed love relationship regarding your career trajectory. There may be wounds in business partnerships agreements regarding your big, expansive, bold energy in career matters. And the wounds may be something subtle. They're not like, obvious sometimes, right? This is subtle energy sometimes, because you may be wounded in matters that Venus cares about. She's with Jupiter, right? So she cares about being liked at the top of the sky, being seen as likable, being popular, being wonder bar with the world. And maybe somebody in your audience, marketplace, business partner, client situation, marriage situation isn't giving you the visible love you deserve. You feel underloved, underappreciated, underserved. That's what Venus square Chiron will also say. She's in a broad square. Jupiter's digging his heels into it to make it bigger than it should be. Sometimes if you have a reputation deflation from your audience, marketplace, clients, business partners, or spouse, Jupiter just is amplituding it. It may not be as big a deal as you imagine. So if the spouse isn't appreciating you right now, take a few deep breaths. You're feeling this energy in the very first couple of days of July. Then we move on and we talk about Mars in a square to the nodes of fate. Yeah. Well, he also bashes into Uranus. Okay, so first of all, Mars-Uranus can bring a surprise in the house of chunky money. Okay, end of story. Just like a tax rebate, a shocking surprise regarding a stock taking off, money about spousal resources and a surprise, money about shared monies from business partnerships and surprises, and even unexpected surprising developments regarding money connected to property sale and inheritances, and even royalty income and ad revenue. Now, it doesn't have to be good or bad, but it's got a destiny flavor to it. And Mars is like, let's cut, let's change, let's bisect, dissect. and it enters into a square to both the south node in your 11th house of career gains and the north node in your 5th house of entrepreneurship or art or creativity or romantic love. But with Mars here, it's more likely about the angle of money. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're working in a business endeavor or you have gains from your career that have been leaking out here, you're not making enough money, the nodes of destiny are out of your control. There's a destined pivot and a major change. And I'll be diving into this in a separate video because Mars does rule your work house and your house of being employed or employing others. It's also connected to money. It's also connected to being entrepreneurial or trying to go in the direction of your natural talents and gifts and having a pivotal turning point happen here. Now, what that turning point is, I can't really tell you at this point because it's surprising because of Uranus. You may not have anticipated it, and even me trying to do that for you may be difficult. There could be entanglements with Mercury, the Lord of the turning point here, right? Where Mars is in a house of legal matters, courts, judges, visas, passports, international themes, and foreign lands, and Mercury retrograding, retracting, taking back, or working backwards, like maybe reversing course on something you thought was going ahead, like Mercury was going ahead, totally full steam ahead in your 9th house Cancer as of June the 1st. And suddenly you're hitting this retrogradation on June the 26th. What's backtracking? Sometimes Mercury backtracking in the 9th is legal issues, red tape, and bureaucratic things that are getting in the way of some kind of financial situation, whether it's your employment, your self-employment, whether it's investments, whether it's business partners' money, or even marital shared resource money. So there can be a lot going on here. Eek, that doesn't feel so simple or easy. This is going to be felt by you already July the 1st, really through to about the 5th. So there's nothing you can do about it. It is happening, right? You have to step back and say, this is where the fates and the destinies are working in the sky. I'm just an observer. I'm on a roller coaster, maybe. What is this about? And at least Mars is bending the north node for increase and prosperity in matters to do with entrepreneurship. So the long game, well, maybe uncomfortable at first, could bring you a positive increase in creative, artistic, and entrepreneurial endeavors while releasing you from income gained through job and professional employment. You might be having a pivotal turning point too. And maybe at the end of the day, it's exactly what you need, right? Maybe. All right, continuing on. When you look at the idea that Mars is also engaging in the mini triangle that will become a part of a barbose basket, Mars is trying to support flow to your work, to your employees or your employee status and pets, and flow to rental properties and flow to home and property and real estate. Well, there are surprises at the same time. So you may also have some surprise positive agreements to do with property, land, real estate here. And maybe also surprise and positive agreements or contracts signed connected to rental properties here. So rental properties, agreements, money, these are themes that I'm seeing for you. Some of you could be looking at money from an inheritance with Pluto in the 4th house, and you might have some pivotal turning points that do flow around money, inheritances, and debt. So all of these things, Mars is trying to help pivot for you. And he does owe the house of debts, and he can have surprising debt relief as he bends the north node. So how you could come into money may be what I'm seeing here as well. Now, let's keep going. On July the 6th, the sun is square to Saturn. This is not easy, but it is important because the sun is illuminating what Mercury retrograde is dragging out of the past. And think legal, think documents, think judges, think paperwork and red tape or something like that. Or because the sun is this joy, a former father figure or a father figure, someone from a leadership position in your life, a mentor or guide. Anyway, they're shining brightly, squaring Saturn, and Saturn is in your work house, employment, job. Kaboom. Although you could have the same situation could play out around July 6th as an ailing, aged, unhealthy father figure in your life, not being well, having an illness at this time. And so you'll see that maybe come through around July the 6th, a day or two before and after, okay? On July the 9th, Venus will come into a trine to Chiron. She's flowing to this Chironic moon, trying to heal it. What is it going? What is going? Did I say flow? Did I say Venus? Oh, we got to move Venus on. So Venus has been in your 10th house, gracing your public reputation, career success, and visible people loving what you're doing in the world, looking up to you. Even if you're retired, they're all applauding your golf score. Okay. You're looking good in the eyes of the world. You're looking attractive. You're looking successful. You're being appreciated. But Venus will get out of this part of the chart and move on the June 9th timeframe into a place of detriment or difficulty. Now, she's going to be in a place of her fall with the south node of letting go on June the 9th. Now we're moving into the second week. This is going to start a second week in which there could be losses or disappointments in career gains. At the same time, when Venus is here giving those losses or disappointments, she's also trying to heal something in the house of love relationships that are committed, business partnerships. She's trying to soothe the wound, but there is something that's disappointing you here. Maybe you tried to reach a larger audience or client or market base, and there's a disappointment. The gains of the 11th are directly related to your professional career, but the gains of the 11th are not just that. They're what you desire, and they're your long-range goals and dreams. And there's a bit of a deflation in maybe a dream or a cherished goal that you had. And it seems to be losing a little bit of air in the tire. Do you know what I mean? It's not all as rosy as you would imagine it would be one code for that. Yet there's an attempt with an exalted moon and a Chiron to soothe the waters of audience and marketplace and clients and business partners, as well as marriage partners. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. You might have some disappointment with a sibling, one older, or a friend who lets you down. And in a destined fated way, it's meant to be. You may surrender a friendship. It may be time to let it go. And you may surrender a business partnership or a marriage relationship, because that's what Venus is ruling. But all said and done, it works out for you. Venus rules the house of international revenue and borderless income, especially digital. And maybe that is also something you're ready to surrender, some path that you had taken that may not be working the way you preferred. If you work for an international company like my Scorpio rising sun, he may be retiring from the company because he's no longer wanting to do that. He's having a baby, so he's taking paternity leave. So this could just be the paternity leave signature, okay, in July. But it's a surrender of earned income, direct income from career, could be also perceived as a disappointment as well. But Venus could also love up your creative artistic energies instead of that, as she witnesses your North Node, finishing up a 18-month stay in the fifth house of the artist, the creative, and the entrepreneur. You've been inflating entrepreneurial success for a couple of years now, 18 months. And so this is kind of her maybe witnessing that here and maybe supporting more success, possibly, but she is fallen. So good but not great would be the message there. Okay, let's move on. It is time to talk about the biggest story here, next biggest story. And that is going to be that the universe resets the button with Mercury and the sun every 6 times a year. This is a retrograde conjunction between Mercury backwards moving into the sun at 20 degrees of Cancer on July the 12th, right up here. When this happens, there's a reset button in the house of foreign lands, foreign people, foreign countries, international themes, book publishing, higher education, and on, court cases and legal matters. Reset button, fresh start, new beginning, but news or information. You get the visa in the mail. The passport is finally delivered. The higher education sends you a message you're accepted or not. But because Mercury's retrograde, it's the past coming to the now. These are things that you already have been working on, things that you knew about for a while. So it's nothing fresh, but there's the news, the information, the contract, the agreement, the papers with the lawyers, the judge's decision. These are things that may occur around that Kazemi of July the 12th. Don't forget, Mercury can translate this to business partnership monies, inheritance monies, and legal and court matters, or spousal support, separation, in-law money, and legal and court matters, and decisions, as well as any monetary turning points connected to headquarters of, like, you know what I mean, human resource departments, and how much money you're entitled to in any given way. And there's a kind of clarity here on the Kazemi around this time. We can now move forward into the new moon that happens in your ninth house. It is happening on the 14th. It is 21 degrees of the sign of Cancer. The closer your ascendant in Scorpio is to 21 degrees, or your sun or your moon, the more love you feel from this new beginning, new fresh start moon. Because this new beginning moon is wedged in there, okay, with Mercury retrograde, there's things about this new moon that still say it's new beginnings, but it connects to things from your past. Visas and passports, legal standings and statuses, things to do with foreign countries and foreign people. The moon is in dignity. It's a good moon. Mercury is in there as well. And there's something about maybe the idea of legal matters connected to a sibling, one older or two older than you as well, rolling through the sky at this time. But it is, again, a new beginning, and it lasts for 6 months. Every new moon lasts until a full month. And so some of you may want to go back to school and re-educate. Some of you might want to change your country to somewhere abroad. Somebody might be working on a book publishing or writing a publishing deal. And that would work for you with Saturn, as you're working hard to write. And then eventually a new beginning can happen with the word publishing. International themes, right? New beginnings and themes connected to the globe or international matters, and new beginnings and being more aligned with one's purpose, one's natural gifts and talents. This trines your fifth house and the North Node there. New beginnings and entrepreneurial endeavors and artistic endeavors connected to distant shores, foreign people, and foreign lands. Fresh starts and new beginnings, or renewing things from the past in a new way in those areas of your life. All right, let's keep going and talk about the next story. The 14th of July to the 22nd is all about, the main theme is this rare, first in a lifetime, once in a lifetime cradle in the sky called barbose, cradle, or basket. Because this French astrologer said, the golden age of humanity. Do you see the basket? Right. Mostly it's important because it's anchoring outer planets, Uranus 4, Neptune 4, Pluto 4. That's this beautiful triangle. And then it becomes a basket because Jupiter forms a fourth point. Now, this means that you're trying to capture energy from houses kind of like 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, but mostly even better. So 12, 1, and 2. So money, you want to capture more money. You want to be more yourself. You want to get deeply spiritual and move more into spiritual life. There's that kind of, those three houses can drop right into this basket with ease, right? That's the vibe there. And so a lot of ways this basket is asking you to receive something. Oh, it's not just about this month. It opens up new doors of opportunity that spin further out than July. But in July, you're definitely feeling the crux of it on the 14th to the 22nd. Let's talk about the basket or the barbose cradle or whatever you want to call it. Jupiter at the top of the sky. The guy is like Santa Claus, fairy godfather, wants to bring into fruition maybe some wealth, right? Jupiter opposite Pluto can be a wealth yoga, but it comes through critical turning points and matters to do with oppositional energy. It comes through tension, and it's from the fourth house of home to the 10th house of father figures, patrilineal line, father figures, inheritances, money. It connects to inheritances with Uranus shock and surprise in the house of inheritance. It connects to settlements from careers and sudden payouts connected to wealth. It connects to change in your debt status in the world, paying off debts, eliminating debt, shifting debt status, debts owed to you by finally being paid, right? And it's all about kind of the dream come true. Maybe it's going to align you in the long run with different work paths that are more satisfying for you, get you out of drudgery if you've been drudgering in your work, especially with Chiron going back into your workhouse September of this year through to next April, the last finale on being purposeful in alignment with work and purpose matters. And I do not see this as particularly negative, but it can be quite financial. Could be a raise in promotion and a sign-on, right? It could be increasing the money you make in your career through business partnerships in sudden, exciting, and turning point ways. And ultimately, because there's also Neptune and Saturn, you want a dream come true career path or work path. And you want to work in ways that, you feel like you're making some steadfast gains in a longer range goal or dream, right? This is here in the work you do, but you might need to take a deep breath. There'll be a power struggle and contractual agreements here to with property, real estate, rental property. money from inheritance, money from business agreements, money from business partnerships. The longer game of the cradle slash basket thing is it's going to bring in more money, right? Jupiter rules your second house, and then when you want to drop money into the bucket. So the turning point intensity around the 14th, no, the 14th of July to the 22nd of July ultimately can be more money drops in your bucket. Like, so take it or don't take it, but I think you should take it. That's the upside. Even Venus ruling the 12th house, that bucket money can come from international sources, international companies, international revenue, faraway people and places, right? And it can help you align very clearly with the key to purpose. So there's a lot going on in your story, but I think that this basket bucket cradle thing is going to serve your finances in the long run. And again, some of you could come into money that's more of an inheritance thing, and it can feel a bit like good fortune, even if it is an inheritance. In the middle of that bucket thing, basket barbose cradle, on the July 19th timeframe, we see that Mars will work really well with Saturn to support something good trying to happen. Mars and Saturn are hard work, basically, and they're working together. Hard work pays off in your livelihood, your job, what you're doing for a living, and it leads to increases of chunks of money, commission checks, bonus checks, royalty income, passive income, shared revenue. You know what I mean? Like your book publishing deal, you're sharing the money with the publisher, the royalties are coming in, you share the royalty income. So this is a good hard work pays off in that kind of money for you. And that's around July 19th. So expect it a day or two before to be very active, and you can feel something sweet because it's still a part of that cradle. So you're going to go, yay, here comes some pennies into my bucket, if you play that right. And then June the 20th to the 22nd, that's when Jupiter locks and loads the cradle and just says, we're game on all the way. We're fully engaged in the cradle. Here, 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees, right? We've still got this beautiful energy playing off each other for hard work pays off financially in surprisingly positive ways that feel like a dream come true in the job work, career sector, in the Arcta houses of 2, 6, and 10. So this is where hard work pays off and you're starting to fill your coffers if you want to fill your coffers. Or there's many ways you can get your coffers filled. You could get like a payout or a sign-on bonus or a severance package or some perks like that coming through as well. All right, moving down the line, further down the line. And we talk about the last part of the month of July. Let's start off with the chironic wound again, because everything about that wound that you felt around July 1st, 2nd, 3rd is back again on July 23rd, 24th. And that's just because the sun now does what Jupiter does, but you'll notice something else. The sun also does the cradle. So we get another wave of this energy playing out here. In other words, it's not over till the fat lady sings. You'll only know that if you're old like me. It's a stupid comedic expression. And by the way, there are no more fat ladies because we have Ozempic, and that's Saturn-Neptune conjunct. But we'll talk about that in another video. To me, the sun puts a spotlight on your career. And Jupiter says success. The sun says go back to heal a chironic wound with business partners and love partners and your audience marketplace outreach. That's all. Go back and deal it up again. First week of July comes back the third week of July. The first, second, and third of July is a bit like July 23rd, 24th all over again. But nonetheless, the sun wakes up this cradle as well and opens up more of that. And there's nothing wrong with the sun in the 10th house. It's happy there. It's literally the midday part of the chart in high noon. So now you're really seeing some kind of lift, like your career lift is high, or your reputation lift is high, or the esteem of others is high, or the boss is loving you is high, right? You're getting appreciation at the top of the sky. That's basically the code. Yeah, the sun is opposite Pluto and opposite Juno. There may be intensity in your home life versus your career success. Maybe some fractures with your spouse or wife about how much success you're having, T-square, in your career, and your home life is suffering. Or some contractual agreements with business partners or spouses are fraying in the light of what looks like a glorious uplift in your success in your professional, reputational part of the sky. Okay. And Jupiter just wants to drop money in your bucket, guys. That's what his job is for you here. And then we're going to talk next about Venus and Mars in a square. Depends on what you're doing in your love life. Venus, Mars, Secret love affairs sizzle. Okay. Hidden love affairs sizzle. Infidelities and love affairs are sizzling. Venus South Node fallen. Be careful. It could also be some fraught tensions between money you're making in your career and or money with a sibling or someone who benefits you, connected to shared resource monies and just tension, especially spousal shared resources and tension there as well, coming through as a bit of a crackling energy. Mars has the upper hand. So yeah, there's just tension between money and spouse or money and friend or business gain money or secret love affairs that you're dealing up, maybe with friends. You're like getting down with a friend, you're friends with benefiting somebody, or you're attracted to a friend at the expense of your marriage, by the way. So be careful for attractions outside the marriage bedroom if you're married, okay? If you're not married, then maybe your person's married and you have to keep it a secret. And it could be collegiate and work relationship, sexual energy as well. That's around July 29th, a couple days before and after. Then also on July 29th, there is a beautiful energy of a full light moon, big moon, and the nodes are changing signs. So the nodes are changing signs around the 28th in the true node, the mean node. Without getting into too much detail, there'll be a special video on that. But the north node, south node axis, excuse me. Oh my God, just try talking for 5 hours in a row. The nodes are changing axis. You're moving into greater purpose, greater enjoyment and pleasure, greater romantic life, greater success in entrepreneurial business endeavors. Oh, sorry, you're leaving that. That's where you've been for 18 months. And you're going to change the nodes to the 4th house, 10th house axis. Scorpio. Literally, I had to stop and take a water break for you. And I've got my sunglasses on because I coughed so hard from not having enough water. I'm having a tickle in my throat from talking for hours on my recordings. So I put my sunglasses on so it doesn't look like I'm crying. This is just so funny. Okay, Scorpio, back to you. Oh, let's finish you up. Let's give you a happy ending. All right. What's going on here? I can't stop coughing. I'm all choked up about you. The final thing I want to tell you, 2 things. The north node here will move you, or you'll get a bigger home. You'll expand your home. There's destined changes in your home. There's wealth and prosperity from inheritances. This is coming to you soon, or from the in-laws. It's going to start activating at the end of July and will take place for 18 more months. Eclipses will rock your world, move your home, give you wealth, and change your financial status. You have to bear with me as the best I can do. And as on top of that, on top of that, you're going to notice that we have a new moon in Aquarius, full moon in Aquarius. Oh my God. I want you to go back to February 28th, 2025. There was a moon there. 26, I mean. There was a moon in February 28th, a month before, a month after what was going on, because this is a lunation that was an eclipse back then with a north node in the house of sex, romance, and pregnancy. Whatever was happening then, love, romance, entrepreneurship, pregnancy, you may have entertained selling a property, for example. You may have gotten pregnant in your home. But this is when my son announced he was pregnant, right? 3 months pregnant with his wife. So there's things to do with themes of fertility and home from the eclipse in February. And now there's a round 2. The full moon takes this for another level and makes something happen. Well, full moons with the north node will be a completion of one home and the beginning of another. As this lunation unfolds over the next 6 months, I expect some of you will change your home, get a bigger home, a better home, get legacy wealth or inheritance money coming to you. Okay. It's a prediction. Go back to the February eclipse a month before, a month after, what was going on roughly around then, because clues to the new beginning that was seeded here are now fulfilling here. And this is for most of you a shift in home. And you might get married in the home. You might move in with a marriage partner in the home. A dating partner becomes a marriage partner in the home. But this is also very apt to allow legacy wealth and family of origin transfer of money towards you as well from father figures at the top of the sky. That's what we got. Don't forget to join me in Sky Reader this fall. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd love to see you guys in class. The deep discount early bird notice, early bird enrollment ends in the end of July. So catch wave of this video and you wanted to learn astrology to time your best life. Don't wait till August. Enroll sooner. Take care, guys. Ciao, ciao.